So, you know, we started off this trip a week ago, Thursday morning, at my house, in front of the then clean Subaru.
Yep, now it's kind of dirty. Especially after driving through Colorado yesterday, the roads were a little wet and they had put a lot of sand and salt down, so the car, bottom half of the car is brown now.
For the longest time, it was dirty, but it looked clean from a distance. Now it's dirty and it looks dirty from a distance. So let's see, where we go. We took off and we drove to Grand Island.
Yep. Grand Island the first day.
We did, we shot sunset, shot the cranes for sunset. And then got up and did sunrise.
Yeah, we did the first sunset and sunrise on our own. Just found a spot along the river. And that was where I got this, which is now mostly healed. Had a lot of questions about that in the first few videos. People asking me if that was a big zit on my forehead. Well, no, it was from our first sunset along the river. We found a bridge that crossed the Platte River, and we were scouting underneath the bridge trying to find a spot along the bank to shoot from, and we had to crouch to walk under this bridge, and I stood up a little too early and smacked right into a steel girder, which tore a little bit of skin off. So anyway, that's what that was from.
Well, and not only was it not a zit, it also wasn't a hickey either.
Yeah. But
so after the
second day we did the group line, right?
Well,
at sunset.
Yeah, at sunset. Yeah, from Friday.
Yeah.
We drove around the cornfields looking at the rear end of cranes that would be walking away as soon as we pulled up. And we did the group line that evening, and then the morning group line.
Yep.
On Saturday. Killed a bunch of time on Saturday driving around the fields. Then went into our overnight photographer's blind Saturday night.
Hoping for the full moon, which we never really saw. It was too cloudy. But it was comfortable. It was warm.
Yeah.
Not freezing like last night.
Yeah. We got a lot of sleep. I think we went to sleep about, I don't know, 9:15 or something.
Yeah. It was too dark to do any shooting, so...
Yeah.
And now we're passing a bunch of Army vehicles here.
We slept, I don't know, I slept pretty well. Of course, once I take my hearing aids out, I can't hear the birds anymore.
But it was a pretty gray night and a gray morning. A lot of birds, but they weren't as close as we had hoped, and the light wasn't the best, but still it's an unforgettable experience seeing and hearing them. We got out of the blind about 10 and then hit the road for Colorado.
Next year we're going to come back and do it again, and one of these years we'll catch it where the cranes are real close.
And we'll get those nice close-up headshots of cranes that are dancing and courting each other. Which is really cool to see, but we've never seen it really close up yet.
Well, but you got a good video of some of the dancing.
Yeah, from a distance.
Really good video. So then Sunday we took off and headed to Moab. I don't know, did we stop anywhere along the way between?
Not to shoot, no, just drove straight through. Left Kearney, Nebraska about 10 o'clock, 10:30, and got to Moab at 10:30 that night. 10 o'clock?
Yeah, we did momentarily think about going up to Arches and doing some night shooting, but we decided
spent the night in Moab, and then the next day went down to
We went to Page, but that was the
Page.
windy day.
Yeah, that was the day. It was really windy. A lot of dust. The sky was full of sand, and it was really orange.
It was really pretty, though. You know, it was unique. I'd never seen it like that. Red sky. And then we did Valley of the Gods, which was a cool drive.
Yeah.
We ended up at Gooseneck State Park.
Where we could hardly stand up from the wind.
We had to take our glasses off. The glasses were blowing off. Walked over to the edge to look down into the goosenecks. Couldn't even open your eyes. The wind was so bad, plus the sand. Didn't even take a picture. Figured the front element wouldn't get sand blasted.
And didn't dare, I don't know about you, but I didn't dare change my lenses at all that day either.
Yeah.
Didn't want to. There was so much sand blowing around. I mean, taking a lens off the camera would have been not a good idea. You would have had sand all over the sensor.
So after Goosenecks, we hightailed it to Monument Valley, which if you've never been to Monument Valley, you at least have to drive through on the road, whether you stop or not. But I had this idea in mind as we were driving. It was, getting into the afternoon, and I was getting rather hungry and thinking about, well, maybe I'll go in the back and fix a turkey sandwich. We, brought food with us, and then I thought, I bet you anything that Monument Valley, the restaurant there, is going to have Navajo tacos. So I held off, and sure enough, we stopped at the restaurant and had Mamma Mia.
They had 3 different sizes. I forget what they called them, but the test, and then like the sampler and the full version. We got the full version, which was
man-sized version.
That big.
Oh, that was nice.
It was good though.
Good Navajo taco. And then we did the drive, and it actually was, the wind was blowing, but it wasn't filling the air like it was. We were at, what was that? Was that Artist Point? That one?
No, I don't remember.
What's the name of that point that we were at when we spent so much time?
I don't remember what that overlook was called, but we had some really cool light there. Looking out, it was elevated view over the valley, and the clouds going over were making really neat shadows that just washed across. We could see them traveling across the floor of the valley. It was really neat.
Just a beautiful overlook.
Then from there it was on to Page.
On to Page.
Yeah.
I don't think we stopped anywhere before Page.
It was pretty cloudy, so there wasn't much of a sunset. We saw a little bit of color in the sky as we pulled into Page, but not really worth going anywhere to try and shoot. So we just went to the motel room and tried uploading a couple of videos and pictures on the really slow internet connection.
Oh, Page. If you want internet, Wi-Fi, don't stop at the signal rate in Page. What's that? It wouldn't stay connected, and you had to log on every 5 minutes, and it was, I won't stay there again. But we were reading about Wi-Fi there, and they said it's a privilege. Well, sometimes you go to hotels because they have Wi-Fi, so that you can use the Wi-Fi, and it becomes a necessity at some point. It's going to affect my choice of hotels in Page. And then Monday, we had this thought about being able to go out to the Wave, which is a pretty cool place. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, it's well, like everything down there, it's sandstone, different types of sandstone, but it has textures. They basically look like frozen waves, or not frozen, but sandstone waves in the sandstone that were just kind of, if it was from lava, I'm not really sure how it was formed. We tried to get into the hike, and they probably would have explained to us more about it had we been chosen, but we didn't win the lottery, so to speak.
They only allow 20 people a day to visit the wave. 10 of those people get their permits online up to 4 or 6 months in advance. And then they hand out permits for 10 people the day before. And we had like 52 people that were in the lottery with us, and we didn't win. So. But if you're interested, just do a Google on quote the wave unquote, and you'll see some pictures.
You'll see some really cool pictures.
Yeah. So after that, and part of our plan was is go to the lottery in the morning and then spend the day at Antelope Canyon, both lower and upper Antelope Canyons,
which was awesome.
Yeah, this is both of us our second time there. Actually, that was your first time to Upper.
Yeah.
And we spent about 4 hours in Lower, and then 2 hours in Upper.
Kind of the second focus of the trip was Antelope Canyon. The first was the Sandhill Cranes, and the second was to spend a full day in Lower and Upper Antelope Canyons, which is really incredible. I mean, you can say awesome and cool and spectacular, and all these words just don't really do it justice.
Yeah, you really have to be there and experience it. And we had a really unique experience in Upper. Upper is a bit smaller. I won't say a lot smaller than
shorter.
Lower, but yeah, it's shorter. There's also quite a few tour operators that bring tourists to Upper, so it can get quite crowded.
Yeah, there's usually a lot of people in there.
We went late in the day. We actually went somewhere around 3:30, hearing that there would be fewer people in there. And just as we were entering, there was a group of people leaving, and that left us alone in the canyon by ourselves, probably about 20 minutes. A lot of the tour operators, what they'll do is they'll come in there with a flute, and while their guests are, looking around, they'll play a flute, which sounds really cool. And
the acoustics in the canyon are really something.
So since we were by ourselves, and I had my iPhone with me, and I have a little Carlos Nakai on my iPhone, I turned that on, and Carlos Nakai is an Indian flautist. And so we had our own flute music, which was really cool. I mean, it's a rare experience to be able to have a canyon like that to yourself.
For that long, yeah.
For that long, and to, be able to fill it full of flute music.
We were in Upper for 2 hours, and that first 20 minutes to half hour was nice because we were there by ourselves, but then a big group came in, and all of a sudden it was noisy, and some kids, and
changes the character quite a bit. And as we left, there was a group of must have been 15, 20 people that were getting ready to get into the canyon.
Yeah, so we got out of there right at the right time.
Yeah, well, even at Lower, the tour guides go through there. One of the guys was carrying a flute, and at one point I asked him to play, and I did a little video and got him in the picture, and he played a little bit in Lower too, so that was really cool. And then after Upper, we thought that the sun was going to set an hour later than what it ended up doing, so we decided to drive out to Alstrom Point, which was, I don't know, how many miles is it from Page?
43 or 46, I think it was.
Yeah, but most of that, 25 of that is the dirt road. Last half a mile is
pretty rough.
Really rough. We didn't even make it that far. But we got out to a really neat overlook just after the sunset. And that's the first time I'd been there. You've been there a couple times.
Yeah, it was my third time going out there.
And it was so awesome. I said, let's come back tomorrow night and give ourselves plenty of time.
Yeah, so the next day it was, what was that then, Thursday?
No, that was
or
Tuesday.
Wednesday we drove up to Cottonwood Canyon Road. Right? Or was that
No,
Thursday?
it's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Monday we went to, Monday we did Antelope Canyon. Tuesday we went out to Cottonwood. I don't know.
Oh, Tuesday we were in Antelope.
Tuesday
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Tuesday we were in Antelope.
Anyway, Wednesday morning we headed out to west of Page. There are just west of Page there is Grand Staircase National Monument, which is about 2 million acres in size, and for those back home in Minnesota, for comparison, the Boundary Waters canoe area is, I think, roughly a million acres, so twice the size of the Boundary Waters, and most of it is without roads or without trails of any kind, but there are 3 dirt roads that cross the monument from north to south, and we drove most of the central of those 3 roads, which we drove most of the distance of the middle of those 3 roads, which is called Cottonwood Canyon, and we drove it from the south end going north. First few miles it travels along the Paria River, which is really not a huge river by any means, but very pretty. And further up you go, the road starts to really let its name become apparent. There's lots of cottonwood trees up there, and just beautiful scenery. And that was the day we had the really nice, really friendliest bird I've ever seen that actually ate right out of Roger's hand. We stopped at a pull-off to make some sandwiches for lunch, and sitting on the back of the car, and this scrub jay comes flying up and tried stealing food from us. So Roger just started holding out some breadcrumbs, and it would actually fly up and flutter there in the air while it was trying to pull the crumb out of his fingers, and we got some great shots of that.
I think you put some pictures out on that Facebook, no?
Yeah. Yep. So that was our turnaround point. We drove back down the road from there, took a few pictures along the way, and then headed out to the road to Ahlstrom Point again, which is on Lake Powell, and is easily one of the most impressive places to sit and watch a sunset in the Southwest. Certainly, as you know, the Southwest is mostly desert, so there's not a lot of water, and being able to watch a sunset over sandstone bluffs and cliffs with this big lake in the foreground is really unique. So we got out there a lot earlier than we did the night before, and had plenty of time to sit and enjoy the colors. You're not actually looking in the direction of the sunset. The sunset's behind you, so you're looking to the east, kind of north-northeast. But as the sun sets behind you, the bluffs that are out in front of you to the east really light up nice and warm with golden color. And we were lucky to have nice and calm conditions, so the buttes were made nice reflections on the lake as well.
One thing I was particularly proud of is my new little Subaru Forester handled that last part of that road, which is really, really rough. handled it very well. Never driven on such rough terrain before. But fortunately, Travis GPS'd our route out there because some of the road you really can't tell that it's a road.
Yeah, and, you're just driving over exposed rock.
We stayed out there till well after sunset, to where we start, and was able to use the GPS to backtrack through some of the indistinguishably, anyway, that road conditions. So GPS came in handy there, that's for sure.
Yep, sure did. So what did we do the next day?
Well, the next day we went,
Navajo National Monument?
Went to Navajo National Monument. That was on the way. Navajo National Monument has a cliff dwelling called Patatacan, and the overview for it is across the valley, the canyon from where Patatacan is. You're looking right down upon it. Another windy day.
It was like right around like 38 to 40 degrees. Very windy. We're at about a little over 7,000 feet elevation. I'm walking around in my t-shirt. Roger can't believe it. It was pretty cold. But the sun was out, which...
Well, you know, it helps to have the antifreeze running through your veins.
Yeah, which I'm told is what I have. So,
yeah.
So I was chilly, but the sun kept me warm, so I didn't really need more than just a t-shirt.
So that was Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Where did we end up?
We stopped at Goosenecks again, which was a lot calmer than a few days before. Still a little bit breezy, but stopped there, did a quick video.
It wasn't very picturesque. I mean, the light was pretty bad, but you know, it's a really interesting place.
Yeah.
You know, it's more of a morning kind of shooting place than a late afternoon. And then we went up this really cool dirt road that goes up the side of the butte there, and ended up at
Natural Bridges National Monument, which is a place I really wanted to go to after my trip last year. Because last year I tried for 3 nights in a row. Natural Bridges is the first park in the U.S. and I don't know. I don't want to make any other claim, but it was the first park in the U.S. to be designated a dark sky park. And that's for 2 reasons. Is the elevation, you're up again between 7,000 and 8,000 feet, I think it was. So you're looking through a lot less atmosphere. And there aren't any major towns that are really close. So there's almost no light pollution. And what I had tried to do last year was photograph the night sky, stars and such, over one of these bridges, which are basically, they're like arches, but these are called bridges because they're formed from water running through underneath rather than the formation coming mostly from wind erosion. But anyway, last year I tried for 3 nights in a row to get clear star-filled skies at this park, and it just didn't work. It was cloudy every night. And this year it looked like, as we were driving up there, it was going to be the same. It was sunny most of the day, but as we made our way the last stretch there, the last 40 miles or so, it was, clouds were coming in and getting thicker and thicker, and sunset, it was pretty cloudy, not a lot of color at sunset. So we were thinking we got skunked again, or I got skunked again. And we waited around just in case after the sun went down, and by the time it was dark enough to start seeing stars,
started popping up.
Sure enough, there were the stars. The clouds had gone away, and we had a couple hours of really nice clear skies, and got a few nice star trail shots. We did some painting with our flashlights too. lit up the bridge from underneath, which looked pretty cool. Yeah, and that was Friday.
And where did we stay?
Blanding.
Blanding.
Stayed in Blanding, Utah that night.
And then that was Friday. Thursday. Anyway, from Blanding.
What day is it today?
Sunday.
So that was Friday. No.
Well,
Thursday. Let's see.
because from Blanding we went up to Grand Junction
Yeah.
via
Yeah,
Colorado
that was
National
Friday night
Monument.
then, yeah.
Colorado National Monument was someplace that I'd never been. You go up out of Fruta,
Colorado.
and it was getting a little bit late. We've been taking our time driving that day, and we stopped at the campground, took a few pictures there, beautiful views down into the canyon, and then stopped at Ute Canyon, which
That was really cool.
in my mind, the nicest overlook, although we didn't stop at all of them by any means, we didn't have time, but there are two canyons that came in. One came in from the left and then went out to the right, or in from the right and out to the left, but it was a really neat U-shaped canyon. And we were out there quite a while. Again, the wind's really almost blowing the tripod over if Travis hadn't caught it. And did some videos out there, and we decided to leave, and it was starting to snow a little bit, and I thought, I have this microphone that's got a dead cat on it, and one of the things when you're videoing and the wind's blowing, you get all that heavy-duty wind rushing noise against the microphone. And what I wanted was some natural wind sounds, and you can get that with a microphone with a dead cat on it. The dead cat is kind of a furry kind of covering that muffles the sound of the wind going across the microphone itself. So I decided to turn around, go back, and take some more video with using my microphone. And as luck would have it, the snow really started, and it ended up, by the time I left, it was snowing so heavy that you couldn't even see the bottom of the canyon. But I got some really cool video of the different motions of the wind up there. At one point, the snow is coming directly at me, and it really looks kind of cool. It looks like you're moving right through this big snowfield. Then the wind calms down a little bit, and all of a sudden a gust comes from the left, and the snow is just horizontally going across the field of view.
It's really a cool video.
Yeah. And you've got the wind without all the microphone garbage kind of noise.
You got the desirable wind noise and not the wind buffeting noise.
So then we spent that night in Grand Junction. And then yesterday was pretty much driving.
Yeah.
I don't think we took a picture till last night.
Yeah, we had one planned stop for shooting, and that was in North Platte, Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you should note that on the trip out there and on the trip back, we got better mileage going through the Rocky Mountains by quite a bit than we got on the way out, and than we're getting right now driving across flat Nebraska.
Yeah, right now we're got 19.2, and we were getting like 24.
Yeah, 24, almost 25.
Going through the Rockies. Amazing.
Anyway, we were trying to get to North Platte, Nebraska in in time to visit the Golden Spike Tower, which overlooks the Bailey Yard, which we learned on this trip. We didn't know about this before the trip, that the Bailey Yard is the largest rail yard in the world. And they move something like 10,000 railroad cars through that yard a day. And also they use remote controlled engines to push the cars around. But we got there 10 minutes after the tower closed, so we didn't get to go up in the tower and see the yard. We saw the yard from ground level, which really didn't give us much of a view, but something for the next trip. Would have been neat to see it, but we just didn't get there in time. We didn't know how late they would be open.
So then we drove on to Kearney and decided to go sit in the car and watch the swans. It was pretty miserable weather.
Cranes.
Yeah, those things, those swans.
The gray swans. Yeah, we just parked along a bridge again that crosses the Platte.
We ended up taking some video.
And there were just a ton of birds landing there last night.
Yeah. Just coming in wave after wave after wave. You'd think you'd seen the largest wave to come in, and then all of a sudden it's swarming again. It's like a swarm of bees. Except they're cranes.
Giant birds, yeah, large birds. So then the forecast last night was for a couple inches of snow, which we were really, really hoping would happen, because it would be neat to photograph the birds with that kind of a background. The water of the river and then the snowy banks would have been really neat, but of course that didn't happen. Didn't have any snow overnight, and a little bit of light rain, and it got down into the upper 20s for temperature. So going out to the blind this morning was a little chilly. We had nice views of the birds. The birds are right out in front of the blind in the middle of the river, but because of the weather, it was very overcast, actually a little bit foggy and light drizzle. So the birds were very slow, very reluctant to leave the river. They didn't leave the river in large groups like they normally, or like they often will do. And it just, you could say it wasn't as interesting because they were mostly just standing out there.
Yeah, no dancing.
Yeah, they were.
I was doing primarily video because I wanted to get some of their courtship dancing.
Yeah, they were.
I was also wearing my gloves, and Travis was barehanded, and he was kind of really proud of that as we were walking back when I was saying how my hands were freezing, and he grabs the coldest part of the tripod and says, "See, I'm a real man."
I can hold on to the metal ball head of my tripod without my hands getting cold. I didn't wear my hat either. Of course, you didn't either, but...
No, I had my hoodie.
Then it actually felt colder walking back from the blind than it did walking out there.
Oh, yeah, it did.
And the ground had frosted a little bit in that time.
Slippery.
Yeah.
I had to scrape some ice off the car, off the windshield. Then we hopped in the car and drove a little ways, stopped at a rest stop, had a little bit of breakfast, and
now we're on our way home.
Yeah, got I don't know, about 5 hours, 6 hours. We're gonna see about stopping at an Apple store if it's still open when we go by Roseville, not Roseville, Ridgedale.
It's been a good week though, awesome week. A lot of good photos.
Yeah. A lot of good photos, a lot of good memories.
And some new experiences for both of us. New places that neither of us had seen.
Yeah, as we were leaving, one of my favorite theme songs for going on a trip is Willie Nelson's On the Road Again. And one of the lines in there is seeing places that I've never seen, and that certainly was the case for me. I saw a lot of things that I'd never seen before.